how do we get started? How do we humble people, how do we get started?
Where do we sign up?
Where do we and I'll break it into two. Where do we sign up? The one, but you know the situation. So not everyone is going to get a formal education. So if you can just give us some of the routes that we can take to become project managers. And I'll give you an example as well. In the past, in various institutions, what I've seen happen is you normally get people that are engineers or studying whatever, not even working in the field. And then normally to pursue further education, they go back and they do a project management course. Obviously, I've often wondered where they'd be using that course. Is it to manage the projects that they'll be currently on, or will they be doing sort of taking on the job that you are doing most of the time? So how do you get started, Nobantu, and where do we fit in both formal and informal education?
Okay, so there are a myriad of solutions for people who are interested in project managers and project managers who've been working in this space for a while and just want to up their skills. So maybe let's start with the informal route.
Yeah.
So Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend. There's a lot of material, Udemy courses that you can sign up for, where you can just get a good basic understanding of what being a project manager is and what it takes. So I think starting off, when I left my graduate program and I had chosen project manager as a career, I spent countless hours on YouTube, on Google, finding out what are the basic fundamentals of project management. So it would take you through what I mentioned, the 5 stages of every project. So what does it involve in each stage? It would take you through what we call the 10 knowledge areas. So as you go through those 5 different stages, there are different knowledge areas that you have to use at different phases in the project. And all of that terminology and that lingo is contained in multiple frameworks. So one of my favorite sites is projectmanager.com.
Okay.
So they usually have like a free trial where you can just go and sign up and start like engaging with just what the basics are. What is project management? What are the different phases? What are the 5 knowledge areas? And you can just get a good understanding of what everything involves. And I think that's a good start for anyone to try and get there. And because when you start off, you probably don't have a lot of experience. I think the best thing to do would be to start, give yourself a project. So it doesn't have to be someone who's entrusted you with a project that has an official budget. It can be as simple as planning a best friend's birthday party. If you can prove that you have used the methodology, because it all goes back to the methodology. If you can that you've used, demonstrate that you've used the methodology and your understanding to plan this birthday party from initiation phase to execution right through to closure, using those principles, you give yourself confidence as someone who's interested in the space, but also it's something that when you start getting to a point where you want to get certified, you can use those hours that you have accumulated doing those small projects to back you up and get you certified. So my advice is always to just start small, start with something that's practical. And even if you are probably an engineer or a developer in your space, look at whatever project you've been assigned to give and run that as a project in your own space and take your own initiative through whatever you've learned online to aid you to run that thing or whatever implementation as a project. Because it can be as simple as building a house to as complex as, like I said, putting together a cloud solution. So give yourself a project and run through it in the set methodology. So I think that would be the first step, which is a more probably not formal route. And also outside of the free courses, when you start looking at it in a more formal space, there is PMI, which is the Project Management Institute. And they are like the gurus around project management as an institute. So it's a not-for-profit organization that's based in America, but they pull together all the subject matter experts around project management and all of the thought leadership around the subject of project management together. And they offer a multiple number of courses. So for someone starting off new, a CAPM certified associate project manager would be the first grasp for you to just get the fundamental ideas of what it is. So you do your CAPM, and it would give you, this is usually for someone, like I say, who's interested in project management, doesn't have a lot of experience in the space, but wants to get the foundations right. So that's where you'd start. And from there on, you can work as a project coordinator. So coordinating small projects, that's where most people start in a formal space before you work your way up into project management. So CAPM is definitely your best bet. And then the next, I guess, formal qualification would be your PMP, which is your project management professional. And there you need more hours in terms of experience in project management. I think the hours differ from where, if you have a degree versus if you don't have a degree, there are different hours of experience that are required there. So you can go on to the PMI Institute and just find out more about what the requirements are there. But your PMP is your gold. So once you have the PMP in the industry of project manager, you are like,
you're kung fu, you've reached a certain level of Tai Chi.
Yes. Because it gives people also just an understanding, or gives people the confidence that you know what you're talking about. Some of the concepts that are covered in that course aid you as a project manager to speak the speak, and have the ideas and the logic around how do I put this project thing together, and how do I successfully implement it. And that PMP gives people confidence that you've got an approach, you know what you're talking about, and people can trust you. People can trust that you're an actual project manager. So PMP would be one, but PMI also offers a few other courses. For example, project managers who work almost as business analysts, they can do a course there. Project managers who are focused on risk assessment, they can do project management with a special focus on risk assessment. There's focus on schedule management. So if you are focused on how do I actually put together a schedule or a plan that will make sure that this project runs successfully, there's a course around that. So you can start almost specializing once you get to a certain level, and start focusing on one component of project delivery. And then as you work your way up, there's portfolio management, where you can do a course around being a portfolio manager, and that's where you now manage a multiple number of projects, and you start becoming a bit more diversified there. And then and a program management certificate, which almost sits below a portfolio. So it would be a project, program, and then a portfolio. So portfolio, yes. So then as a program manager, it will also give you an ability to, how do I manage multiple projects? In a portfolio level, how do I manage multiple programs at a more strategic level, and make sure that they all speak to one strategic objective? So you become more sophisticated as you go along, and start specializing. So there's a lot of content that PMI offers, but then there are also other certificates that are not necessarily in the PM Institute platform, like your Scrum Master certificates that you can look at taking on. Yes, especially if you're interested in an agile space or agile way of managing projects, you can look at a certified Scrum Master, which is a good qualification to have. And Prince 2 actually is one that is also quite good. And Prince 2 is also takes you through a certain methodology of project management, and it's about how do you manage projects in a controlled environment. That's what it stands for. And that there you can do courses online as well. So you can just sign up, get make sure that you meet the specific requirements that are set there, and off you go.
So I guess, geez, that's a lot. At least but I think it's a lot in a good way, because we have the necessary breakdown to do what we need to do. And a big one that you actually mentioned, Nobantu, which I quite liked, was I never thought about it that way. That, you know how you think from a technical point of view, with portfolios, you always have maybe an application to show and those types of things. But I love what you said about the project management space, about the fact that any project that you are involved in, whether it's a wedding planning or family gathering of some sort, someone's birthday party or whatever, if you use the methodologies and framework, that becomes you building your portfolio. So the more things you plan, and the more things you, especially starting out when you've got no experience under your belt, which is a lot actually that people can use, because often people just come sort of with their hands and it's like no experience. But no, you do have experience. All those planning tasks, you being known by family members that you're good at planning, that's actually quite a lot. So that's quite a huge one. And yeah, man, and yeah, quite a lot, which is good. And then Nobantu, tell us something. What tools do we need, Dick? As we know the terminology, I mean, you've taught us during this session. We could all pass off now as project managers, but now when it comes to doing the work, that's where we'd have a challenge. So what tools do we need to be a project manager?
Okay, so the tools space, there are a lot of new project management software. The space from an industry perspective is quite competitive there.
Yeah.
You've got people who are advertising tools that make it quite simple for you to manage your project on a day-to-day basis. But some of the ones that are most popular and known in the industry is Microsoft Projects, and that is a planning. So it's basically, it allows you to put down your tasks, schedule them accordingly, assign your resources, assign your costs. It's actually, if you look at it for the first time as a beginner, it looks quite complex, but it's quite intuitive as a system. So Microsoft Projects is one of the big tools that people can start familiarizing themselves with. And again, YouTube is great in providing content around how do you build a basic project plan.
Yeah.
Project schedule, to be more accurate. How do you build a basic one, and how can Microsoft Projects help you in terms of breaking down your task, assigning your resources, assigning your costs, and all of those nitty-gritty that are related to that tool. It's a good one to have a look at on YouTube. And then I'd say another important is a Gantt chart. So Microsoft Projects actually has a specific view on their platform that allows you to see a Gantt chart. So a Gantt chart is like it's a bar chart, bar chart that assigns your project task across a certain duration. So it'll say, okay, Njabulo is working on building X as a task, and they're doing that across 2 months. And it'll just allow you, it gives you like a graphical view of what's happening on your project. So that's one, as a project manager, that people almost expect you to know. And then another one would be a work breakdown structure, which is sometimes referred to as WBS. So that's another tool that you use to say, these are the deliverables that I have on my project. How do I break them down in a hierarchical way to say, okay, I start here, this is the next task I'm working on, this is the next deliverable I'm working on, so that it builds to this massive project plan. So that would be another one. I'm trying to think if I'm missing any of the important ones. If you look into the agile space, there's also your Kanban board, which becomes also quite important when you start your implementations there. And your Kanban board can be as simple as just having a chart that shows what you plan to do, what you're currently doing, and what's done. You can just put your different tasks and different activities in specific blocks according to those different phases. So yeah, in the agile space, Kanban boards are used quite frequently, and you can use tools like Microsoft Planner. You can use Trello, which is also a good one to just plan out your Kanban board and give you just a high level view of what your tasks and your activities are currently on the project and where each one sits. And then there's also platforms like Jira, which contain, I think it's also used quite a lot in the agile space, which contains your Kanban board, but also gives you a list of your backlog items. So every item that you're still working on that hasn't been approved to be implemented will sit in your backlog, and it will give you just an overview of what your backlog items and how you want to prioritize them on Jira. It's a nice collaboration tool as well. It has quite a number of collaboration tricks in there as well. But I think an important one that most people don't mention actually in Njabulo is your templates. As a project manager, your templates are very, very important. So your templates for kickoff meetings, you can just go onto your browser of choice and just Google or search what a meeting template, or for a meeting kickoff template, and it'll just give you loads and loads of templates of what you need to include in an agenda for a kickoff meeting. What does a a kickoff meeting, what are the outcomes that you need to drive in that meeting. So all those different kind of content are available online. So yeah, templates from your kickoff meetings to your closeout meetings, your minutes, your issue register, your test case templates. All of those are also quite important tools that you need to have in your arsenal as a project manager. But I think your best bet again is to just do a simple search online and just and start there.
Awesome. Templates. So I guess with templates, it helps you. No, Andrew, I'm not saying that's the only thing I got from that, but I'm just saying what stuck out, right? So, but on the template side, though, as I agree with you, because I'm just thinking the time that you could possibly save if you know for every project. I don't care whether it's your financial industry, financial sector of project versus something else, your manufacturing type of project. At least you know you're quite clear and set there. Okay, so
and I think also just to that point, Jabulo, you mentioned quite a good point where you're saying it saves a lot of time. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. Where there is a template on how you conduct a meeting, a kickoff meeting with a client or a stakeholder, use the templates that are available to you. So you don't have to spend massive amounts of time, especially when you're starting out. You don't want to spend massive amounts of time trying to come up with your own different way of doing the
structures
where multiple people have done it before. So I think as you get more experience and you get more projects under your belt, you can always tailor those templates and different tools to best suit the project, number one, but also best suit you and your style of managing. You can always tailor that, but as you start, stick to what is available and optimize your time in that way.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Nobantu, so when it comes to teamwork and being a project manager, so I just noticed that for you in particular, you in using the various tactics I use to find these things out, I noticed that you're rated quite highly on teamwork. So tell me, what kind of impact has teamwork basically had just on your career as a project manager? Or is that something that's just innately built into you as a person? Because sometimes those help as well, the things that we have as just attributes.
Yeah, no. It's great to know that good things are being said about me when I'm not there. So I think for me, teamwork is at the core of what I do because a project manager is only as good as their team. I don't actually build any of the solutions that I deliver to my clients. I don't do. Sometimes I wish I did because some of them are just so brilliant. I don't actually do anything, but the team that I work with and the team that actually delivers these solutions are core to what I do. If I'm giving feedback on where we are from a progress perspective to a client or a stakeholder, I need to know that my team is giving me an accurate view of where we are. I need to be confident. If there are any issues, I need to be confident that my team is going to be able to sort those things out. I need to also be confident in the fact that they know what they're doing. They are the subject matter experts. They are the ones who have the knowledge and the know-how on how to make this thing a reality. So I need to trust in them and in their ability. But managing them as a project manager is very, very important. I need to make sure that I'm having the right conversations with them at different times. They need to feel empowered, that they know, because they're also so focused on just doing what they have to do. I need to make sure that I'm giving them the right information so that they know how to make the project a success. So if we're running behind, they need to know that we're running behind, so that they know that they need to push hard and get us to the delivery date. If they're doing well, I need to make sure that I tell them that they're doing well, so that they are more beneficial and they know to keep doing the same thing, so that they can basically make the project a success at every point. So yeah, teamwork is very critical. And I think I mentioned giving people the space to do what they have to do because they know the work. But I think also highlighting some of because you're looking at everything from a bird's eye view. So highlighting some of the risks and issues that you're starting to see crop up, to say, guys, if we don't nip this in the bud here, it's going to catch up with us at that point. highlighting that to the team and being mature enough to also give them that information helps make your project run smoothly across every implementation. But I enjoy working with my team and different teams at different spaces, but I also enjoy seeing them do what they do best, but also seeing the best that they can do come out in every different project. So being part of the team that gets the best out of them is also what I am doing as part of my role. Yeah, so I think teamwork is I can't emphasize it enough. It's important for a project manager.
Okay, awesome. Makes sense. Okay, so now, Nobantu, I'd like us now to touch upon something which is quite important, which is the fact that I'm sure you're obviously aware of the economic situation across the world. So it's not just SA alone. It's tough out there. It's tough. But now, as tough as it is, Nobantu, people are still getting jobs. People are getting hired. So I guess in any of the conversations I have with people, there's that disconnect between those that say there are no jobs and what's currently happening in the various industries where people are getting hired. So I want you to speak to a Nobantu out there, yes, right now, right? Who has got their BCom, right? But sadly is sitting at home, right? And they know that no, they're capable, they're intelligent, but for some reason they keep on applying but getting nowhere. So give them a starting point, Nobantu. In what would you do in the current economic situation right now, knowing that you've got no experience, but you've got your BCom and you're applying, but nothing's happening?
I think you touched on such a great point. I've got so many friends, so many family members, people who are highly qualified and are sitting at home on qualifications that they cannot use, and it's very difficult to be on the outside looking in and knowing that this person is more than qualified, but they're not given an opportunity to put that into play. But I think for me, speaking to people who are in that situation, it's important to own your own growth. So understanding that as much as you are qualified, as much as you are a scarce resource, nobody owes you an opportunity. Nobody owes you a chance at life, and that we all ultimately the buck stops with us. We have to take accountability for our own growth. So do not use your inability to get an opportunity at this moment as a stumbling block. Use whatever resources you can out there to further your knowledge, to remain curious, to further your skills in whatever way you can. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, if it means applying a project methodology to a party planning event, do that if you know that it's going to grow you, grow your skills base, and prepare you basically for the next opportunity. So taking accountability of your own growth, I think, is most important. The next thing that I think is also quite important is to remain, when you are given an opening or an opportunity, is to consistently remain reliable. No matter how small the opportunity is.
Just say that again. Say that. I know you can go back.
Consistently remain reliable, no matter how small the opportunity is. I think it's one of the things that I've learned in my very short career is if you are faithful with an opportunity, like most people see that and they recognize it, and they're willing to give you bigger opportunities and an opportunity to prove yourself. So if you start as a project coordinator, it doesn't mean your life will end up just as a project coordinator. If you can do that job diligently, and if you can remain reliable and do whatever you are meant to do on time, all the time, people trust you with more. People trust you with more, and to just to remain faithful in that season will I promise you will yield a lot of results. So it's something that I try and implement whatever phase I'm in, and also knowing that that this is not where it ends. It's just the beginning, and I just need to just keep doing what I'm doing to get to that next level. And I think it's also very difficult, but you have to find whatever you can to keep yourself in a positive mindset. So opportunities are far in between, and it's difficult for you to get your hands on a good opportunity. But if it means you are a runner and you need to get out there, hit the road, clear your head, so that you're in a better mood, do whatever it takes, keep yourself in a right mindset and mind state, and taking care of your own mental health, so that when you are then presented with that opportunity, you are apt and you are ready to, and from a mindset perspective, you're ready to make the best out of it, So I think those are the things that I would say to people who are sitting out there struggling to make ends meet and struggling to get grips of these opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nobantu. I think the amount of information that has been shared here is a lot of good, solid information. Because one of the biggest things that I've challenged when talking to people is people don't give you the core information that you need. I mean, it's all good and well for you, Nobantu, to mention your education and all that type of stuff. But now you're on the groundwork, so people need to know what you're actually doing, and you've literally given us all that information, as well as how we can also start making our way and see how we can get into the field as well. And I think that's so important, because there is no mentorship if the conversation is not going to be real about what you have to do and what challenges you actually face on a day-to-day basis. So for that, I'm really grateful, and I really hope that many of the guys out there, many of the people that want to be project managers that are starting out, would actually just soak it in and do what needs to be done, and get all the information. And but you mentioned earlier on also that we have Google, but we have Google and you, no, but so people have to DM. No, you see, that's the thing though, no, but because what I try to do is I always try to when I on my chats to people, whatever, to say that, don't be soft, people. If it means you have to DM someone to get the information, DM someone, because it's not going to just drop from the sky. You can be an irritant, yes, but as long as you get the information that you need to hit the ground running. So I hope that people actually do that. And yet again, thank you very much for giving us some of your time and sharing some of your insights today. Any parting words, Nobantu?
Thank you for the opportunity. Awesome. I think it's such a great platform. It's such a great platform for people to just understand, like you say, what it takes when you're on the ground and you're actually living it. And you mentioned learning from each other. It's so important that we don't repeat the same mistakes if we don't have to. So if you can reach out to someone, if you see someone with the project manager title on LinkedIn, and you can drop that DM and say, can I get 15 minutes of your time just to ask this specific question? Most people are willing. You will get people who are not willing, but most of the time, people are willing to even give you that 15 minutes on LinkedIn to say, what is your question? Let me help you through this idea and see where it goes. So use those opportunities and use the different platforms that you've been given to take it. So thank you also for just creating this platform for people to start thinking about these things and start getting more information. And I'm more than happy if I could help.
You really did, Nobantu. You really did. So guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Nobantu.